What's up, everybody? Welcome into the RPG podcast. We're here tonight to talk about Breece Hall. What's his fantasy outlook? There was a lot of trade rumors circling before the draft, a lot of talk still after the draft. Will the Jets re-sign him? What does this season hold after a disappointing 2024 for Breece Hall? All right, so let's dive into it over here. First things first, we're going to go over to Dynasty Data Lab, see where he's going in those first drafts, really, of the season, of fantasy season. Man, look at that right there. RB8, 37th pick off the board in startups as of right now. You look at some rookie running backs going ahead of him. You got a Marion Hampton, and then everybody knew Ashton Genty was going to be going ahead of him. But you got a Marion Hampton going 2 picks directly before Breece Hall. Could have a slow start to his career from a production standpoint. You have Travion Henderson going as the RB11, a couple RB slots after him, and almost a full round behind where Breece Hall is going. Do we think that that is a reasonable spot for Breece Hall to be going after he had a down fantasy year? Most people were expecting big things from him after coming off of the RB2, RB3, depending on your format, season in 2023. And frankly, it kind of felt like a dud in 2024. But alas, here we are. And real quick, we're going to go down RB16. Well, if you're taking them at RB3, RB4 prices, like most people were going into last season, that definitely felt like it was a dud of a season, even though 15 points per game is a very good, very respectable points per game from a running back on your dynasty team. Also, remember, he's still got youth on his side. Still talking about somebody with plenty of rushes on his legs, plenty of attempts on his legs. And what is the Jets offense missing? And they are missing some weapons on the outside. They have Garrett Wilson, and they drafted Mason Taylor. But can you name the second, third wide receivers for the Jets as it currently stands? I bet you most normal dynasty players, most normal fantasy players probably couldn't do that. You know, there's plenty of us degenerates out in the street that we can just start rattling off all the names on each team. You know, we know what players are where, but for the most part, most people wouldn't be able to tell you who the second and third wide receivers are on the Jets. And because of that, Breece Hall should be in line for a large target share. What do we love out of our dynasty running backs? We love target share. We love points from receiving. We love everything that they can do in the receiving game. Soft hands, can be able to keep a quarterback upright. I get it. Justin Fields, people say he's going to run a lot. People say that he is going to be over here, not really checking down to running backs. Look, when you have a weapon like Breece Hall is, and you can put an outside linebacker or you can put a nickel corner in a position where, hey, you got Justin Fields running. Do I need to take Justin Fields, the ball carrier, or do I need to protect against a pitch to a Breece Hall or a toss over the backer's head to be able to get it to Breece Hall out of the backfield? There's just so many things that this offense could do this coming season, but Breece Hall should get his target share. You look at what they did in the draft as well, taking Membu in the first round to try and shore up this offensive line. There was big question marks after Smith and Moses were on one-year contracts last year, moving through everything that they did. The interior of this offensive line is still solid. And to confirm this point for me here, let's go over to PFF. All right. We're going to go over real quick and show you some of these grades that they have for the Jets offensive line. You get Joe Tippmann. Man, 63.1 in the pass blocking, about league average, maybe a little bit below league average, but 77.3 run blocking. I mean, you're talking about somebody that handles his gap assignments well. You're talking about somebody that has the agility to push to the second level as a center. And then you move over. John Simpson. Fantastic. You look at him, he's mauling people on that offensive line. Any of the A, B gaps, you start talking about that. He's absolutely moving people out of the way for Breece Hall to be able to get downhill, be able to pick up chunk yards, be able to keep this offense on time, on down and distance. And he's not a slouch in the pass blocking game either. You move over to Elijah Vera Tucker. I mean, look, you can just see right here. We're talking the 7th rated center. We're talking the 11th rated guard. We're talking the 9th rated guard. I mean, Elijah Vera Tucker had an incredible 2024. He was fantastic in run blocking. He was very, very good in pass blocking. You fully expect all of that to continue based off of his pedigree. Now, Fashanu, after being a first-round pick, definitely needs to take a step forward this coming season, hopefully playing left tackle. We'll see exactly how that flushes out, but he needs to take a step forward. We saw what he could do at Penn State. We saw his agility. We saw his ability to get some reaches, get to the outside, be able to seal some edges. But putting that with Membu at right tackle, where you're getting a road grader on the right side of that offensive line, paired with Mason Taylor, who is no slouch of a blocker in his own right. He does everything when you look at a tight end, a little bit of everything. What's your flavor to be able to say, hey, go take this down, go do this the next down. So this offensive line should be a solid run blocking unit. Now, the question is, can Justin Fields be able to push the ball downfield well enough to be able to pull safeties out of the box, to be able to keep them from creeping down on Breece Hall and allow Breece to get that 4.5 to 5 yards per carry that he hopefully will with the expected 200 to 225 carry workload for Breece Hall coming into this final season. Then the question is, am I investing in a dynasty asset that has one more year with the Jets? And what will this team look like moving forward? All right. That is a great question. We're on a contract year for Breece Hall. We are on a contract year for a couple of key offensive linemen as well. Elijah Vera Tucker is on the final year of his deal. You get John Simpson, who's on the final year of his deal. All right. Those are two fantastic guards that if they end up leaving, you could see a little bit of a dip in the Breece Hall stock. But currently, what is Breece Hall going for? That is the question that a lot of people are asking. And based off of our friends over at Fantasy Calc, they are currently saying that Breece Hall is going for right around that 106 price tag in your rookie drafts. All right. Maybe you've already drafted. Okay, now start trying to think of players that maybe you would have moved for the 106, players in that range. But rookie draft pick, we're talking 106. And to me, that's a screaming buy for Breece Hall because he's going to recoup value this coming season, or is expected to recoup value this coming season. And if you want to move off of him next season, after he's recouped a little bit of value and you were able to utilize the points from him this coming season, okay, perfectly fine. Totally understand that. There will be questions of whether he's going to get that extension. Hopefully by next offseason, that's figured out. Hopefully some of the guard situation will be figured out by this time next year. But it's an uncertain future. Totally understand that. If you want to try and mitigate some of that risk by moving off of Breece Hall next offseason, I would advise do that at your leisure. But for this coming season, you're talking about somebody that should have a mid to low end RB1 season. He will continue to raise in dynasty value because of his age, continue to hold maybe in dynasty value, but even holding at RB8 prices is not a bad thing these days. Look, people look at running backs, they say they have a relatively short shelf life. You're talking about somebody that's currently 23.9 years old, according to the databases. And that's somebody that's still relatively young. That's somebody that's got plenty of tread left on his tires. I get it. It's a sexy running back class that just came out here in this year's draft. But Breece Hall will be a production machine this coming season, and you should draft him accordingly. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We appreciate the time that you put into this. Hopefully, you appreciate the time that we put into this, and you'll comment, like, and subscribe. Have a good night.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Football RPG Podcast. If you made it this far, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to check out written content, head over to lastwordonsports.com.
Don't let the goblins get you.